We're just about ready to start. Thank you so much for being patient with us. Okay, very good. So we now reconvene to our regular session agenda for the June 28th, 2023 meeting of the Board of Education, Pomona Unified School District. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Gonzalez?
Present.
Mr. Jimenez? Mr. Jimenez?
Present.
Oh, thank you. Dr. Perlman?
Here.
Dr. Nashua?
Here.
Mrs. Tai?
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Section 1.02, we're now going to be doing the Pledge of Allegiance, and if she would so kindly, Jasmine, would you mind leading our pledge?
Oh, this is actually right on. It's a good sport.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, section 1.03, we have announcements of action taken in closed session. Mr. Moore?
No reportable actions were taken this evening.
Wonderful, thank you. Section 1.04, superintendent comments and corrections or additions to the agenda. Mr. Knowles?
Thank you, Madam President. I do have quite a few pulls here, so please bear with me. We are pulling agenda item 2.03, staff report, school consolidations, Mr. Mesa, pulled. 4.04, certificated personnel special assignment, section P, pull number 6 and number 11 only. 5A00, certificated administrative assignments, pull number 11 only. 5A03, certificated personnel change of assignment, salary or status, section B, pull number 2 only. 5A14, certificated personnel rescission, section C, pull number 15 only. 6.02, classified establishment of fund for position, accounting clerk 3, pulled. 6.05, classified establishment of fund for position, custodian certified, pulled. 7.18, facilities agreement, Southland Industries, pulled. 7.21, fiscal agreement amendment number 1, Los Angeles County Metropolitan Transportation Authority, Fairless System Initiative, pulled. 7.39, fiscal agreement, Learning Incorporated, pulled. 7.62, approval of sublease agreement, Valley Academies Foundation, Montview Elementary School, pulled. And then 9.08, closure and consolidation or repurposing of Marshall Middle School, option A, pulled. 9.09, closure and consolidation or repurposing of Marshall Middle School, option B, pulled. And that concludes all the pulls. And Madam President, just I wanted to remind our community, and first of all, thank you for coming out tonight. I'd like to thank our staff, especially Pupil and Community Services, for putting on the movies for our community. I think this year we had a record turnout. Last movie was on Tuesday and I don't think a lot of people know this, but I want to make sure you do, is that Pomona Unified is one of the only districts really in the country that has our own theaters. And so the theaters were well attended. The kids had a great time. So we want to thank everybody for coming out for that. And then also starting up in the second week in July, we have our Pomona Discovery Camp. We'll be offering a weekly camp to up to 100 5th and 8th graders. And the 5th and 8th graders will be participating in a collaboration between AMOCA, DAS Center for Arts, the club, and Pomona Unified School District doing robotics. And so we'll be providing that summer camp for our 5th through 8th graders. And so we're super excited about that. It's on our website. So please help us spread the word, and thank you for joining us this evening. And that concludes my comments.
Wonderful, thank you. So we're going to move on to section 1.05, presentations and staff reports. First up, we have Mr. Knowles, please, presenting on Lopez Urban Farms.
So at this time, if I could have Farmer Steve. One of the great programs, and I'm going to have Mr. Yorba share a little bit about our Lopez farm. And so this gentleman works extremely hard, And I know he's going to be presenting for us tonight, and he has a little video that shows us about the farm and our partnership. But before you show the video, I want to recognize your dedication and your hard work for the children of Pomona Unified School District. So, and I should have put Farmer Steve on here, but we kept it formal. So, Mr. Yorba, thank you so much for all of your support. Okay? Thank you very much.
I guess, thank you very much. That's very unexpected, but nice to be recognized. Thank you. My name is Farmer Stephen Yorba. I am the lead farmer and executive director of Lopez Urban Farm, and I have a short video and then a few words, if you don't mind.
Right. Okay, so every day we dance with death, right? Es un balance. Everywhere we look, right? It's a balance of life and death. Cada día unas plantitas están muriendo, ¿verdad? Para que otras nazcan, ¿verdad? Every day we're seeing life and death happen, right?
Food insecurity, I think, is a big issue in the Inland Empire because we have what I would call food deserts, which is basically areas where there are not very many grocery stores or food available. And I think that mostly the community here is aware of it, but probably people outside of the community don't really realize that.
By creating an urban farm, we're creating a food hub and access to fresh, locally grown food without using any toxic chemicals.
I think that's all we did. And we did finish.
I was invited to come here and bring my mobile pantry and pretty much create a bodega, which is a pay-what-you-can model, just like the farm. The night market is a really, really great place for us to all come together. So we'll also do the crochet lab with Lori, and then the other members of the farm get together and other members of the community. So it's kind of like a big block party we throw every Wednesday for the neighborhood. Yeah, they're so cute.
A lot of people come to the night market not necessarily looking for food. People are coming for all types of different reasons. They want to be in a space where they feel safe, where they feel fed, where they can create together. Like our community crochet lab, right, with Lori, Chaos Crafts. It's beautiful, right? People flock to that program on Wednesday nights. And it's just a community of folks who come from different places, different walks of life, and they're all sitting together and they're all crocheting together, you know? There are bonds being created, relationships, friendships being made.
I didn't know that, but it keeps jumping out. It keeps ending up on the floor. So now she's like the asymmetrical look.
I think it gives us some time to sit and be and enjoy the space. And so that kind of opens up doors and windows to making more art, to getting more involved in the community and the farm life.
It's a commitment to us to educating the next generation of eco-conscious human beings. We can get these kids as early as possible and invite them into green spaces like this, invite them into the process of growing things, understanding nature and how it works and how they're connected to nature.
I can bring my kids here and they get to run wild, run through the flowers, run through the plants, and they get to see new things that we don't normally see at like parks and our home garden.
So the junior urban farmer training helped us bring some of what we learned here home. So we started gardening a lot more. We started planting. So I learned how to take seeds from the fruit and vegetables that we cut open and kind of dry them out, and then I can plant them in my own yard.
There's a lot to learn, and it's kind of difficult because I feel like even after a year I haven't really learned everything. One major thing that I like to do is I try to compost at home. Also try to do my food and groceries based on what's seasonal and available at the time, rather than just going to a grocery store and grabbing whatever vegetables are available.
And I see beyond beyond Lopez Urban Farm. It becomes the birthplace, the incubator for many other projects that will spread throughout the city of Pomona, where the city and the school district and the community are coming behind urban agriculture and supporting it because it breathes so much life into communities, built by the community, for the community.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So Superintendent Knowles, trustees, staff, and community as well. I want to thank you for this opportunity to do this work in partnership with Pomona Unified School District. This is, we're in our second year now, and we've accomplished quite a bit, and we've been busy this past year. We produced over 100,000 pounds of fresh produce for our community and our POSD families. We served approximately 1,000 POSD families at the farm through our education programs, about 1,500 POSD kids educated at the farm, including those who come every Thursday to our Husky Thursdays from Lopez Elementary, which is right next door. We added about 10 new programs this year. You saw Bianca and the Bodega Comunitaria. It's a mutual aid market, the Crochet Lab. We have Indigenology, who's bringing native culture education to the farm. And we have a native seed project right now where we're growing blue corn and the Three Sisters at the farm. Sensibility play for those kids who need to access the farm in a different way, who have sensibility issues. We have a whole program for them. Our Evergreen Equal Access Market, in partnership with Inland Valley Hope Partners, we now are able to provide more food resources to our community. We have a community sound bath every other month, family yoga every Sunday. We're developing a partnership with Just Us for Youth to develop another half acre and teach their kids to learn how to farm and run a farm. And all of this equals more education and more resources for our POSD families. We also completed a community needs assessment, a very detailed community needs assessment from the surrounding community. And we found that our POSD community wants more green space like Lopez Urban Farm, right? This adds to student retention, it adds to crime reduction, it adds to food access, job development, and community wellness overall. And all of this adds value to our collaborative partnership with you. This adds value to what was once a 3-acre vacant property. Lopez Urban Farm has become a community asset with tremendous social capital, and we're really proud of that. We like to think of it as an outdoor school. Think about that, an outdoor school. The first of its kind in POSD, and maybe the first of its kind anywhere near here. And so we're really proud of that. This year we plan to do a few things. We plan to develop, like I said, a project with Just Us for Youth, where their At Promise youth will be employed to help learn how to build a half-acre farm and run a half-acre farm, and that will increase food production for us as a whole and education to that segment of youth who are in POSD. I think you know of their work already. With that, we plan to double food production for POSD families, increase POSD student access by offering field trips this year, offer more food and resources to Pomona Unified School District's Family Support and Resource Center. So we've been in touch with them. And then we want to erect a yurt-style community gathering space. That's one of the big things we want to get to this year. So, and much, much more. So I would like to invite you guys, all of you, whoever, as a group to plan a field trip to Lopez on a time and day that is convenient for you all. And we'd like to show you around the farm. Thank you.
Thank you. You are phenomenal. This program is
Farmer Steve,
phenomenal.
can we get a picture with him real quick?
2, and 3. Thank you.
Can't wait to see you.
Yes, thank you so much.
Okay, so we have another presentation. Before Mr. Knowles starts on that one, though, if I'd like to call it Maria. Maria, if you can join Mr. Knowles. Where is she? Okay, so for our second presentation, we would like to pass it off to Mr. Knowles for the University of Laverne REACH program.
So I wanted to take this opportunity to share with you guys that, each summer, for how many years now? 15 years? 18th year. So for 18 years, we've had a partnership with the University of Laverne where our juniors get to go live on campus for 3 weeks. There's a graduation. They learn how to do business plans. They have to present their plans regarding the business that they develop. They have university professors teaching them. And to watch the students start the program and to watch them finish and watch how much confidence they gain in the process, it's an incredible program. And I know tonight we're here to recognize several of our partners. But the first is Dr. Ghazawi, one of our professors from the University of Laverne. If you could join me, Dr. Ghazawi. He does an incredible job. And again, to watch the kids grow, we are so thankful for the partnership. And I know he has districts all over Southern California just begging to get into the program. But we had 34 of our students participate this year, and they were ecstatic. And I know it's just a phenomenal growth opportunity for our kids. So for your dedication and support, and I'm going to be recognizing some more of the people that help support you, but we know that you lead the charge for us, and your leadership is so important to us, and we appreciate you, Dr. Ghazawi. So thank you.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Knowles, and thank you, the Board of Education. I've done nothing. I've done my job, and I love to do what I have done. And nothing makes me more excited than seeing the students getting better and getting a taste of college education and realizing that higher education or college education is something that is attainable. Thank you. Thank you.
Stay here with me. We also have some additional support, folks, and there's many people supporting in this program, but I would also like to recognize our very own Bria Garcia. She does a phenomenal job with this. She's incredible. I'm going to use the word relentless. She fights for our kids. She takes care of our parents, and she makes sure that every spot in this program does not go unfilled. And so we really appreciate her help. And she also has some sidekicks with her. I'd like to invite them up, Leticia Lopez Betancourt and also Maria Contreras. If you guys could join us, you may have to stop translating for a minute, but if you guys could come and join us also, we'd like to recognize your hard work this summer as well.
Thank you. Thank you.
And Mr. Knowles, I'd like to invite her husband up and the lovely young lady that they brought with them today that's ready to go bake after this.
And speaking of young man, it's his birthday today, and he's in a board meeting with us for his birthday.
How did I know?
And Mr. Phillips, you guys, just so you know, is one of our retired administrators. He was a principal for years for us, and he's a phenomenal human being, and he still stays involved all the time with our district. So thank you for your service.
Don't hide back there. We see
He's
you.
hiding.
Come on up.
plaques as soon as we get more plaques.
You know, just waiting for the board. You know, I also have something for someone who's been supporting our program for the past many, many years, even before he became the superintendent. Mr. Knowles, thank you for everything. This is the Leadership Award from our program.
Can I make, oh,
Thank you. Yes, Dr. Perlman, absolutely.
I just wanted to make a quick comment. I had the privilege of attending the REACH graduation, and thank you, Dr. Gazawi. I loved the comedy infused in the presentations. But I also want to recognize Ms. Lorena Gonzalez's son, Joaquin, made the keynote speech at the, he represented the students, and he also came in first place for the award. And so, so anyway, congratulations to Joaquin.
It's he and his group, so it was 6 of them that they took it, yeah.
And also, the Carrillos are here, and their daughter was in the second place group, so Pomona Unified was well represented. Oh, and also, that she's not accomplished enough, she also sang the national anthem. Okay, so anyway, thank you, thank you.
Wonderful, thank you so much. Okay, so going on to section 1.06, California School Employees Association Representative Comments. Is Ms. Mariana Orozco here? There she is. Oh.
Yeah, she's the one that was singing back there. Say hi. Okay, and be quiet. All right. And I just want to say good evening, President Gonzalez, members of the board. She's going to get excited here, Mia, right now. Come here. Come here. No. We're over here. We have to listen. Okay, listen. Listen. Listen, Linda. So I just want to, okay, remember we talked, time out. Okay, listen up. So now, anyway, So I want to say, Superintendent Knowles, Cabinet, my APT, CSEA, and brothers and sisters, she just wants to be so excited with everything. Thank you. See, that's what Pomona Unified School District's about. Everybody gets a helping hand. So, and she's a future Lincoln student, so. But I want to address, well, let me go back. Good evening, President Gonzalez, Vice President Jimenez, board members, Superintendent Knowles, Cabinet, my APT, CSEA, PACE, Union brothers and sisters, and the community present here with us in the audience tonight. This is our last minute for the fiscal year, and I want to start talking about the positive things that we have here at the district. Different programs, I mean, it just speaks for itself, all the things that we do here in the district. And I want to thank the board and all those who have assisted with the classified employees, the things they do, their dedication, their loyalty. And I want to, thank my members for all their hard work. Every day, you think about the times when you come to work. There was a meeting we had today, and I had told one of the administrators, it's good, to monthly have that one-on-one with your subordinates, the people who work with you. Whether it's something good or bad, people want to hear the good because the morale comes up. It brings it up. People come to work more. They have that smile on their face because let's face it, folks, we're working with these children, our future. So it's something that we dedicate in our loyalty here. And it's been, we've had our moments, but I want to say I am a truly dedicated employee of this district. My members are. We've shared in so many different things with APT, PACE, things that we go back and forth. But the main thing that we have is the love and the respect that we give to one another, like brothers and sisters fighting, but you still come out in the outcome and make sure that we all work together. Because this is what we're here for, our students. If you're not here for the students, then you're in the wrong job, because this is totally different. And it's funny how you're sitting in a restaurant, and all of a sudden a student comes up to you, you don't even recognize it, and say, "Oh, Mrs. Orozco, do you remember me?" And you kind of like look and say, "Okay, I know my age is starting to show here," and you remember. And then they start talking, and isn't it so beautiful when they remember you? So that means you had a positive effect on that person. And there's, "Oh, I'm going to college, this is this," and it's just wonderful to hear the things that come out from our students that have been here at Pomona Unified School District. With all the dedication and everything, that's all I'm going to speak and address tonight, is that just to support everybody out here, what you've done. I'm not really the bad person everybody thinks I am. But in all honesty, it's just been a pleasure. Mr. Phillips, you're still a young man. Work with him. He was my supervisor, so he actually got to work with me back in the days, and that was just yesterday. And on another hand, I know the board probably do this as well, but I just want to speak about Rezvan Hikmat Mary. She was a paraeducator here at Pomona Unified. Really good person. I've had my issues where I got to meet her. The dedication, everybody that she had, the heart, it takes a certain type of individual, and you're working with children, and it's really sad that she passed away in a car accident, and a dedicated person, and I just want to, thank her for some of the memories that her and I had, that we shared when she came to me with things, and we're never promised tomorrow, and I just want to say thank you for everything, and thinking about her, it's been really hard on my heart, because I know she wanted to retire, things that happen, and it's we need employees that are dedicated like that, and that's what we have here at Pomona. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Thank you, Ms. Orozco. Section 1.07, Associated Pomona Teachers Representative Comments, Wei Su Lo or Ms. Morales.
Good evening, everybody. I cannot take credit for this speech. It was written by President Wei Su Lo. She sends her regards, and thank you. And I just want to say really quickly, Wei Su has created relationships with everybody as president, and it's been a more positive experience. And I'm humbled to give this speech for her. That's all I wanted to say. Okay, here we go. Good evening, President Gonzalez, Vice President Jimenez, and members of the board. Good evening, Interim Superintendent Knowles. Good evening, our APT and CSA brothers and sisters, parents, students, and community of Pomona. 2023 is almost over. It has been a very busy year for Associated Pomona teachers. We've had many accomplishments this year. Due to an unprecedented COLA and other adjustments from the state of California, we were able to get our members an 8% on-schedule raise this year. In addition, our members received a much-needed increase to our health benefits gap. The 2% off-schedule bonus also helped mitigate rising food and housing costs. Throughout the year, we created new and reestablished old relationships with local organizations. Our teachers helped plant trees in the community of Pomona through Clean and Green. Some of us also helped with the Pomona Christmas Parade. That was so much fun. 12 of our educators received mini grants from Pomona Host Lions Club. APT continues to educate our members through virtual and in-person workshops about retirement and teachers' rights. We also sent various members to CTA-sponsored conferences. Through surveys, APT was able to reach out to many of our members about bargaining, school calendar, and health benefits concerns. And this year, APT endorsed and successfully helped elect 3 candidates to the Pomona USD Board of Trustees. Mrs. Tai, Dr. Perlman, and Dr. Nashua. Our school board contact program has finally taken off, and we would like to say thank you to each and every one of the Board of Trustees for your willingness to listen and to engage with our APT leadership. Summer is also the time we plan for the next school year. APT anticipates continued collaboration with Pomona USD, local organizations, and the Board of Trustees to accomplish even more next school year. In fact, this summer we participated in the resource fair sponsored by PUSD and helped already give away over 100 books to our students. And we still have about 10,000 more, so if you know of any kids, no, we have a bunch, our whole room's full of them. We hope the relationships we are fostering will also ease the tensions between the district and our union during our negotiations of a new collective bargaining agreement. Please keep in mind that APT is here to advocate for comparable pay, health benefits, equitable work conditions, and safe and clean schools. All of these things result in the best education opportunities for our students. Thank you, guys. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, Mary. Okay, section 1.08, Pomona Administrators Confidential Classified Management Employee Comments. Dr. Cindy Green, or if somebody's here in representation. Okay. Now on to section 1.09, audience comments. This is all we have? Okay.
We have one.
Are we sure? My audience, is there anybody in the audience that has a yellow slip potentially? And I just wanted to review this. Something just came to mind before I go over. For our audience members or anybody watching on YouTube, I just want you to know that when you come to our board meetings and if you want to speak, you're absolutely welcome to speak. We have a process. Right outside the first floor, there's a table, and on the table are yellow slips like this. And you will fill these out, and you will bring them up with you and give it to any one of our people here at the table so that they can submit that or you can submit that for public comments. If ever there's a situation where you don't have any more, there aren't any more, you come see me. You come see Dr. Perlman, superintendent, any one of us, and let us know that you do not have a yellow slip to speak. You will be given one. So just know, never be afraid to ask. We're all here to help you so that you can get your 3 minutes so that you can speak from your heart. So with that, we're going to go on to our speaker. We have Ms. Claudia Cano, if you could come up.
Good evening, PUSD Board of Education members, Superintendent Dr. Darren Knowles, Cabinet members, Board of Education, General Counsel Mr. Moore, and audience. My name is Claudia Cano. As I term out my 21-23 SELPA CAC chairperson position, I am here representing SELPA and all 38 PUSD schools, students, teachers, parents, community members, stakeholders, and the voiceless. I am speaking out of concern that PUSD Board of Education members and superintendent continue to neglect and ignore the achievement gap among special education students, students of color, low-income students, English language learners, foster students, and LGBT students. My question to all of you remains the same. Why do you want to continue ignoring the issues instead of resigning from your current positions? Willingly and voluntarily, you have allocated millions of dollars to nonprofit organizations, consultants, and other organizations without holding them accountable for their actions. My question to Dr. Darren Knowles, Superintendent, and Monica Principe, Director of Curriculum and Instructional Secondary, will be, with the knowledge that there is a teacher shortage, what is the reason that you have pulled over 70 fully certified teachers without having a plan in place to replace them? For example, teachers, specialist teachers on assignment, and coaches. Why do you have so many long-term substitute teachers all year long instead of teachers as legally required? Who authorized Monica Principe to create a committee to lower the math graduation requirements? Keep in mind that A through G requirements to get accepted to college, students have to have 3 years of math instead of Monica's new proposed 2 years. It appears to me that you don't have the ability to identify areas of need. In addition, PUSD Board of Education members and superintendent claim to have the need to save money. However, new principal on assignment position was created and approved 2 weeks ago. Was the new principal on assignment position created to promote another one of your friends? Perhaps remove a school principal that verbally and emotionally abused the students, and PUSD HR department choose not to terminate their employment. Going back to identifying areas of need under the poor leadership of Monica Public Records, taking 15 to 17 years to adopt books. Instead of every 5 years. I haven't heard Monica Principe presenting as to how she will create book adoption committee to ensure legal compliance, including but not limited to the removal of Spanish speakers class. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Cano. Okay, we're going on to section 2. Section 2.01, Superintendent Oral Communications on Agenda Items. Mr. Knowles.
No comments at this time.
Thank you. Section 2.02, Approval of Minutes for the regular board meeting of May 17, 2023. May I have a motion?
I'll move it.
Moved by Dr. Perlman.
I'll second.
Seconded by Dr. Nashua. Any discussion? Okay, seeing as there is none, may I have your votes?
Five zero, motion passes.
Section 3 is the consent calendar. The consent calendar includes items 3 through 8. All of these items can be considered and voted on together unless specifically removed for individual consideration. Do we have any yellow slips for Section 3?
None at this time.
Thank you. Section 3.02, may I have a motion on the consent calendar?
I'll move the consent calendar.
Moved by Dr. Perlman.
I'll second.
Seconded by Ms. Tai. Is there any discussion? Okay, thank you. May I have your votes?
Five zero, motion passes.
Thank you. Now going to Section 9, Special Action Items. Any yellow slips for Section 9?
None at this time.
Thank you. Section 9.02, agreement between superintendent and Pomona Unified School District. Mr. Moore?
Thank you. In accordance with California Government Code Section 54943C3, prior to taking final action, the legislative body shall orally report a summary of any recommendation for a final action on the salaries, salary schedule, or compensation paid of a local agency executive during the open meeting in which the final action is to be taken. In accordance with this requirement, the proposed superintendent contract before the board this evening for consideration and vote includes the following compensation elements. Via the proposed contract, the superintendent would receive an annual base salary of $275,400, subject to 1, the applicable longevity table percentage at 5.5%, and 2, periodic negotiated salary increases provided to district-level administrators upon subsequent board approval, and the choice of sick leave, retirement contributions, health, dental, and vision insurance, group life insurance, and such other benefits provided to the Associated Pomona Teachers, California School Employees Association, or management employees in the district, as chosen among those options by the superintendent. In addition, the district will provide a term life insurance policy with a benefit in the amount of $1 million. The proposed 2-year superintendent contract, which would commence on July 1, 2023 and conclude on July 30th, 2025, is now presented before the board for consideration and vote.
Thank you. May I have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion, please.
Motion by Mrs. Tai,
I'll second that.
seconded by Dr. Perlman. Is there any discussion? Okay, seeing as there is none, may I have your votes?
Five zero, motion passes.
Okay. Then, that being the case, we'll move on to section 9.03, which will then be the administration of oath. The oath of office will be administered by myself to Mr. Darren Knowles. Now, I will say that I'm not traditional, and I don't know if I'm breaking any rules, but what I would like to do, because this decision was a very, it was a big learning curve for me. We had a lot of parents speak their piece, but it wasn't just me alone, it was the 5 of us. So I have divided the oath into 5 sections, and I would like for each one of our board members to swear in Mr. Knowles, and I will start. And let me know where we line up, or if we do it here, or...
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, if you guys can come, I have the paper.
I love that idea. Arturo, ven acá. Ven acá.
Okay, fellow board members, we're going to get kind of in whatever order you all stand in is where you're going to speak. So if we can kind of line up behind me this way. So I'm going to start, and you'll notice where I start and pick up, we'll have a little line and an arrow. You will take that, and then you will point to your board member next to you and let them know where they pick up. So I'm going to go to here. You're going to go to here.
I think we can handle that. Good.
Okay, great.
Let's do it.
All right, you ready? Please repeat after me. This is the oath of office for the office of the Superintendent, Pomona Unified School District. I, Darren Knowles, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
I, Darren Knowles, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
Thank you. That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California.
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California.
All right. I accept the position as the superintendent of the Pomona Unified School District.
I accept the position of the superintendent of the Pomona Unified School District.
That I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion.
That I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion.
And that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I'm about to enter.
And that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And before you go back to your seat, I'd like to call up some parents because they too would like to recognize you, Mr. Knowles. So my parents that wanted to come up, it's your time. And if you could please call your wife up.
You guys, this is my wife, Carrie.
You get to sign both of those.
On the side of a great man, there's always an amazing woman who's always supporting him by his side. Thank you, Mrs. Knowles. We know you both sacrifice so much with all the time he spends helping our district, but most importantly, our children. We hope you both enjoy your most deserved vacation, and rest assured you have our full support from day one. We want your first year to be the best of many years to come, having you as our superintendent. Thank you. En español. I'm gonna try this in Spanish. En el lado de cada gran hombre hay una maravillosa mujer, siempre a su lado apoyándolo. Gracias, Mrs. Knowles. Sabemos que ustedes sacrifican mucho todo el tiempo que él pasa ayudando a nuestro distrito, pero más importante a nuestros niños. Esperemos que disfruten su más merecidas vacaciones y sepan que tienen nuestro apoyo desde el primer día, desde el día 1. Nosotros queremos que el primer año sea el mejor de muchos años por venir, como usted, como nuestro superintendente. Gracias. I know to my wife this means a lot because she never dresses when we go on a date. I used to tell her, please dress like you're going to go talk to Miss Levina. Now I'm going to have to change it because she's retiring. So please dress like you're going to go see Mr. Knowles' presentation. So thank you. Oh, no, she is. It's the clothes.
Will you guys join us for the picture? Please?
I don't know you.
You guys come join us for the
One, two, and three.
A picture with our new superintendent, with our cabinet.
Yes.
We have them in the center? Or?
Yeah.
Look down on him. Look down.
Okay, so Dr. Perlman?
I just wanted to say that congratulations, Mr. Knowles. I've known you for many years, but in this position only for a short time. So the thing that the thing that really makes me believe in you so much is how much you care about our children and our families. Our parents said it, but without that here, you can't do this work, you know. So you've been very innovative in our discussions about what we want for our school district, and I just think you know your the service, and it is complete service that you will do for our children and parents and communities of both Pomona and Diamond Bar will have great impact. So thank you, and best of luck to you.
Thank you. Okay, so we are going to go to section 9.04. We have the approval of local control and accountability plan, the LCAP. Ms. Fuentes?
Good evening, President Gonzalez, Vice President Jimenez, Superintendent Knowles, board members, APT, CSEA, PACE, community, and audience. Tonight, we will be asking for board approval for our LCAP. I'm just going to review a little bit of what we shared 2 weeks ago to ensure that everybody remembers what we covered. Again, we go through the continuous improvement plan through planning, doing, studying, and acting, and this is a 3-year process that we follow throughout our planning. As we mentioned last time, we make sure that we do a thorough line that includes our students, looking at greatest needs, looking at our performance gaps, and really engaging our educational partners, setting goals and actions, and increasing improved services. We also talked about the 8 state priorities that we'll be talking a little bit more when I present on the indicators. But again, it was basic services, accessibility to state standards, parent involvement, pupil achievement, pupil engagement, school climate, course access, and other pupil outcomes with a broad course of study. We mentioned last time that we were looking at increasing or modifying services based on educational partners' responses. We looked at math tutoring and interventions and augmenting these in the LCAP to provide more student interns, additional math learning opportunities, math support, also increasing the number of teachers of art and music, and providing wellness centers in the fall for every comprehensive high school and academy for a total of 7 wellness centers. We also will be looking at training for counselors so they can work with our students. We also are looking at modified in the area of math. Again, we are providing areas to our English language learners and looking at our goals. We look at teacher specialists who work with classroom teachers, again, to provide job-embedded coaching to improve our instructional strategies for our low-income students in the area of mathematics. In the area of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, again, we will continue to provide extra hours to work with our students in the different areas in the STEM field. We do this as an example, like with Science Fair. We have our teachers and we provide extra hours and special assignment hours to work with our students to create those projects and make sure the students follow all the outline. Again, in the area of visual and performing arts, we continue to increase our programs. And I mentioned that we went from 4 years ago about $2.4 million to about $4.2 million this year. So as you can see, also mental health has been a great need. And our parents have shared that that is an area they would like us to expand. And we continue to build that out with mental health supervisors, student support services, and just making sure that we address the whole child. Again, in classroom support, student interns working in the elementary schools with our English language learners. Again, also for a lot of our newcomers that come, so we continue to work with our students. Resource teachers being at every school. Again, one of the biggest things that we in Pomona Unified School Districts have worked very hard is level the playing field. Every school has a resource teacher, and again, working to support our students in small groups and also making sure that they support our teachers. Paraeducators, again, a great asset for our English language development, making sure that they're to support our students at every grade level. We introduced intervention teachers over the last couple of years to support our students, especially after COVID and the gap. We wanted to make sure that they have the support in the area of Tier 2 and Tier 3 for academics when the teachers need support and they analyze student data and work with students in those small groups to again, close those educational gaps. They will also, not only are they in elementary, they're middle and high school, helping our teachers help our students to make sure that we close that opportunity gap that our students saw over the last few years because of COVID. And again, student interns working again with our students in all areas of academic and the areas of math, language arts, and for our English language learners, low-income students that can provide daily support. How do we get here? We talked about it briefly last time, 2 weeks ago. We really do start this in August through February. We engage, again, our educational partners, and that is APT, parents. We push out everything through websites, through our Chromebooks, making sure we're listening and feedback. We read every survey that comes through, everyone, and we put them in buckets to make sure that we're addressing all the needs that our community and our parents are looking. We look at data as one of our components, not only quantitative but qualitative data, and we really look at what is our goals in regards to state priorities and then our goals here, and we analyze. We're constantly analyzing if our programs are working and having an effect. We continue engagement with our educational partners, and we do reflections of the overall plan and implementation for its effectiveness. We look at and we do revisions. Do we need to add more in the area of math? Do we need to add more for mental health? Do we need to do different things based on what our needs are as they have changed over the last couple of years? In May and June, we continue that engagement with our educational partners. We finalize the draft of the plan and solicit questions. We did our public hearing on June 14th, and then we request school board approval, and that is today, June 28th. In July, we submit the approval plan to LA County within 5 days of board approval to get their final say on our plan. We do make sure that we always make sure we post this on the webpage so everybody can have access. So if anybody needs to see that, the draft is posted right now in English and Spanish. The service documents are also there available for anybody to see. So again, today is the approval of our LCAP. And if you have any questions,
Not so much a question, but a comment. Thank you for the work, Ms. Fuentes, that you always do on behalf of the whole child. And it's about academics, but it's so much more than that, and you never, ever lose sight of that. So So thank you. I can't tell you how much I appreciate, and we appreciate the work you do.
Thank you so much. So we can just go for our approval? So we can.
No more questions?
I'll be
make a
back in the
motion.
next presentation.
Okay, so I have a motion by Ms. Tai,
And I'll second that.
seconded by Dr. Perlman. Any further discussion? All right, may I have your votes, please?
Five zero, motion passes.
Thank you so much.
There you go. All right, section 9.05, we have the adoption of our 2023-2024 budget. Ms. Garcia.
Good evening. President Ms. Gonzalez, Vice President Mr. Jimenez, members of the board, Superintendent Mr. Knowles, Cabinet, and the audience and community members here tonight. I don't have the presentation. I'm not going to go over the numbers, the fun stuff. But the Ed Code 42103 does require that we do hold a public hearing regarding our proposed budget before July 1st. We did have that public hearing at our last board meeting on June 14th. And tonight, we're just requesting that the board approve the proposed budget for the 23-24 school year. A copy of that budget is online, available online, and we also have printed copies if anybody's interested in the business office. Any questions? Oh, and if I can add, I know the governor did sign the final budget yesterday, and so we're still getting information. We did get our full COLA. There were a few changes, and we still expect additional trailer bills within the next few weeks.
Wonderful,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Can't wait to see those numbers.
Yes.
All right, may I have a motion, please?
I make a motion.
Okay, motioned by Ms. Tai, seconded by Dr. Nashua. Okay. Any further discussion? Anybody want a breakdown of the numbers? Get down to the nitty gritty? Okay, may I have your votes?
Five zero, motion passes.
Perfect, we made your deadline. Okay, going on to section 9.06, our dashboard local indicators for the LCAP. Ms. Fuentes is back.
I said I would be back. So we wanted to share tonight, good evening, as part of approving the LCAP, we would like to present the local indicators that are included in the 22-23 plan. This is our California school dashboard. The dashboard, as you can see, I want to make reference on the green on the right upper hand. The dashboard and the LCAP now use the same metrics. As you might remember, and we just shared, the LCAP is aligned to our 8 state priorities. The state is using qualitative measures to report the effectiveness of the actions in the LCAP and the local priorities on the California dashboard. There are specific tools that are to be used in the same priorities. For example, in priority 1, which is basic service, we use CalPADS, and we use the FIT, which is Facilities Inspection Tool report from the Williams audit. For priority 2, which is standards implementation, we use a self-reflection tool. For priority 3, which is the parent involvement self-reflection tool, we also, in priority 6, which is school climate, use our California Healthy Kids Survey. We also look at priority 7, which is the broad courses study. We use a narrative summary tool. Priority 8 is combined with priority 7, so we looked at those a little bit, and I'll go into a little bit more. So when you look at basic services and LCFF, we look at teacher assignments, and this is something we work closely with HR to making sure that there is no misassign. So let's look at the tools closely. So we use CalPADS to determine teacher misassignments. We are happy to report that we have 0 total misassignments. In looking at the other 2 areas, we identified instances where facilities do not meet the good repair, but in our case, we have met every Williams audit with a 0 and good repair. We also look at number of students without access to their own copies of standards aligned instructional materials. And again, we made sure we met everything that our Williams audit looks at textbooks. We passed that with no sightings. When we look at the implementation state of academic standards, LCFF Priority 2, we look at these as LEA offers professional learning. And as you could see, there's an average score out of 5 points. So when we look at a little bit about professional learning, we have been through an extensive textbook adoption. It may not seem like it, but we have been, and I want to explain a little bit. When Common Core came into play a few years back, we put a hold on buying textbooks because our publishers did not have Common Core books. They were stamping them Common Core, and so we made sure that we had supplemental materials. Since that time, we have adopted our math textbooks for elementary and secondary. We are right now in the process of our English language arts adoption this year. And then next year, we're going after history, TK-12. And then the following year will be science. And you probably wonder, why does it take so long? There is a lot of involvement from our teachers in piloting the programs, and there's a complete process with the curriculum committee that allows us to go through that. And so when we look at offers professional learning and adopting, we got a 3.1 because many of our teachers are in that process of learning the materials of all the books. We look at instructional materials. Again, we have a robust schedule that we're following, and so we've been buying our textbooks. And if you lottery pays for a small portion of our textbooks, and general fund. Just want to make sure that everybody understands that. And they cost anywhere between $4 million to $9 million for one adoption. They're very expensive. So just wanted to share that also. In implementing policies and programs, again, right now, because of COVID, we are in baseline data, and we're going to be looking at our growth measures with our assessments and our data, and then we will be looking at that growth model as we move forward. And so you could see we got a 2.8. Other standards to students, again, making sure that we have that broad course of study, CTE, health, PE, VAPA, and world languages. Then we look at engaging our professional learning, and again, we're looking at identifying our professional development needs based on our data, our current data, and all these surveys that we take. When we look at parent involvement, again, we look at we're looking at the 3 areas that were presented to parents: building relationships between school staff and families, a 3.55 out of 5; building partnerships for students' outcomes, 3.25 out of 5; and seeking input for decision making, 3.2 out of 5. And so that is our parent involvement component. When we look at school climate, we can look at high expectations. What do schools, what our students say? And this again is, I mentioned the California Health Kids Survey, and this is administered to 5th, 7th, and high school students. And again, you could see high expectations. Students say 71.1%. Adults feel 83.8%. Do students have caring adults? Students have 62%. Adults 64.2%. School safety, 82.4%, and adults 78.6%. A couple of days I've spent with our NISL, our National Institute, and one of the things that's going to be coming out, which is sort of exciting because we hear a lot of negativity on the news that we are in a complete crisis. The Gallup survey that's going to be coming out that was shared with us today, this morning actually, in our workshops, is that we basically have about a B- as a system nationwide of students feeling that there's caring adults, that we're meeting their needs. And so we're looking forward to that and how this aligns to our CHIC surveys. But there's a lot of good positive. About 90% of students said that we are rated at an A, B, or C. Only 10% felt that we were not making the mark nationwide. So that's very exciting news that's coming because we've put a lot of programs as a nation to help the mental health and support our students. And then our last section is access to a broad course of study. And again, the first prompt addresses the narrative describes the process of posting courses on our student information system called Q. And Q includes all of our required courses as set by the CDE Subject Course Area Report. The narrative also points out how our SIS system helps disaggregate course access by ethnicity, language proficiency, and all student groups to address equity issues. Our next prompt, as you could see, number 2, enrolled in a broad course of study. The narrative describes how the district compiles with both state and federal guidelines, ensuring that all elementary and secondary students have access to the offerings at PUSD, whether it is within the school day or before or after school. The next prompt, students, barriers to accessing a broad course of study. Here, the narrative points out the major barrier that prevents student access to a broad course of study because of lack of time during the school day, and that PUSD is offering more 0 and 7th period for our students, as well as more robust CT and ROP programs. Again, we're looking at making sure that we have the correct staff members to provide services to our students. And then on number 4, we have actions to ensure access in a broad course of study. The narrative lists all the district initiatives to ensure that students have access to the broad course of students, which include dual immersion programs, STEM programs, CTE, ROP courses, AP, and dual enrollment programs, to just name a few. In closing, Priority 8, which we have combined with Priority 7, uses CalPads, and CalPads is a system that the state uses to audit all our making sure that our student identification numbers match, that our ELs progress is measured, LTELs, and that our funding is made sure that it is tied to this component. It monitors student enrollment in the course listed above. These enrollment numbers are automatically added to the dashboard, similarly to how it's done for ELA and math scores that are displayed on the California dashboard. And this is our local indicators as they're tied to our LCFF and LCAP. Any questions? I know, it was a lot. Okay, so this was just information. There is no action on this item. Thank you.
Okay. So no action on that one.
Good.
So 9.06 was the dashboard for local indicators. Ms. Fuentes, you said there was no action on this one needed? Okay. So now we're going into 9.07, the amendment, resolution number 23, 2022-23, educational protection account. Ms. Garcia.
Yes, thank you. Tonight we brought back at the last board meeting, we had the resolution for the EPA, or the Education Protection Account, and we're revising it to include the charter school, and really that's the only change we've made. But just in short, in summary, back in 2012, our voters approved Prop 30, and Proposition 30 was later extended in 2016 to extend those taxes. The state requires that a special account be created to account for these deposits, and that's the Education Protection Account. And again, the funds are a portion of what the state aid, it's part of our LCFF. And so it's the same thing we presented, it's just includes the charter school account as well, the district and charter. Any questions?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So may I have a motion on 9.07, please?
I make a motion.
All right, moved by Ms. Tai. Seconded by Dr. Nashua. Is there any discussion on this amendment? Seeing as there is none, may I have your votes, please?
5-0, motion passes.
Thank you. Okay, we are now at section 10, open oral communications. Have we received any additional slips?
None at this time.
Thank you so much. Section 10.01, we have no yellow slips, so on to section 10.02, board and superintendent oral communications and concluding comments. Mr. Knowles.
Thank you, Madam President. And if you're okay, I'd like to make just say a few thank yous, if that's okay.
The floor is yours, sir.
Okay. So, I'm extremely honored to have the opportunity to serve as the superintendent for the Pomona Unified School District. It is with great joy and gratitude that I address the board, our parents, our staff, administrators, and the entire community who are trusting me with this remarkable responsibility. First, I'd like to express my heartfelt appreciation to the governing board for your support. Just as you were observing my leadership as the interim superintendent, I had the opportunity to observe firsthand your tireless dedication to the education and commitment in providing our students with the best possible opportunities to grow. It is an honor to work with each of you, and your efforts are truly commendable. To our parents and guardians, I extend my sincerest gratitude for entrusting us with your education and well-being of your children. Your commitment to not only your children, but to all the children and families of Pomona and Diamond Bar inspire me every day. I've seen our parents support other families in times of need, provide food, clothing, support. It's incredible to watch you guys work, and I'm just so fortunate to be able to work with such a great group of parents. I recognize the importance of strong partnerships between the district, school, and parents. I will continue to strive to foster a culture that is open and transparent, where we hear your voices, that you feel valued and respected. So thank you guys very, very much from the bottom of my heart. I also want to thank Cabinet. I watch how long you guys work. I watch your commitment. Lilia, our deputy superintendent, is juggling 50,000 balls. Fernando is, doing so much work out there trying to build new schools for our kids. Kristana providing mental health support, advocating for more counselors, getting 8 more community schools for us. Sylvia, Sandra, Rosie, Monica, and also Angie, Jasmine, and Letty. You guys, I could not do this work without you guys. You're such a great team. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. To our teachers, staff, administrators, and CSEA and APT and community partners, each of you are instrumental in helping shape our students' futures, and your dedication and support is very much appreciated, and please know that it does not go unnoticed. We appreciate everything that you do to help our students grow. And lastly, I do want to thank my wife and my family for supporting me. I can remember my wife and I having a conversation, and I said, if I do this, it's going to be more hours. And she said, more hours than you work already? And I said, yes, more hours than I work already. And I was right. It's been a lot more hours, but it's been very rewarding supporting our students and our community. As we move forward, I'm aware of the challenges that lie ahead. I believe that with a shared vision, hard work, and commitment to every stakeholder involved, and the commitment of every stakeholder involved, we can overcome any challenges that come our way. Also, benefit from the opportunities that come our way. Student success is our success. And let me say that again. Student success is our success. And I think, Mariana said it when she was addressing the board tonight. When kids come back to you and they come back after they've graduated and they're working on their lives, they're building families and they're building their careers, and they come back and they thank you for the wonderful work that you did, it just hits your heart in a special place. So again, student success is our success. Thanks again for the opportunity to serve as the Pomona Unified School District Superintendent. So thank you very much, you guys.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Nashua, would you like to go first?
Sure. So I'm very excited. I think we're going to kick off our new academic year with a bang, and looking forward to seeing all the amazing things that are going to happen with the synergy with our new superintendent. I think we have lots of energy on this board, which is fantastic. And so, of course, I leave you with a little fact of information that many of you may or may not know, that today is the anniversary of the 1969 Stonewall riots. And that was a action that took place in Greenwich Village, New York City. It served as the catalyst for the gay rights movement in the US and around the world. It was sparked by negative treatment of the LGBT community in the 1960s. So this is sort of the cap for the activity that many of you have seen for Pride. And today is actually the anniversary of when they had the first Pride Parade in 1970.
Thank you. Okay, Dr. Perlman?
Thank you. I was living in New York City in 1969 and 1970. I do remember those times. They were something else. Yeah. What do they say? If you remember those times, you didn't live through them, or whatever that saying is. That's not true of me. I'm just saying. Anyway, first of all, congratulations again, Darren. We really look forward to working with you. And also thank you, Carrie Knowles. She's this is really a family. It's a family effort, as you've been finding out, right? As your phone rings at 10 o'clock and he goes, "Hi, Roberta," you know? But anyway, thank you for your dedication in this too, so we greatly appreciate it. Today, we attended the ribbon cutting for the Cesar Chavez Foundation is building some low-income housing on the corner of East End and Holt. And that was a property that we actually sold to the Pomona Unified, sold to the Cesar Chavez Foundation. For that express purpose, we knew the need for housing, and so we're very happy to finally see this. What did we say? It was about 6-7 years ago, Jim. I don't. Yeah, it's been a little while, but they finally broke ground on that, and so we did the ribbon cutting on it. We're very excited about the prospect of that. I think it will really help that corner, and also it's nice close proximity to the village, to our village complex and Village Academy High School. So we look forward to those students attending our schools. It's called, by the way, Chris Hartman. Was it Hartman? I think it was Hartman, Plaza, who is a close associate of Cesar Chavez and worked on the with the to protect the farm workers. So anyway, that was kind of interesting. I wasn't familiar with the name, but you probably are, Lisa, but I wasn't. Thank you to Farmer Steve. I don't think he's here anymore, but for the work he's doing at Lopez Farm. It's an amazing place. If you haven't been there, you should go over and check it out. It's got beautiful trees, and it's just a very peaceful place. We actually did a sky breathing class over there. Were you part of that, Domenica? When we did sky breathing over no, not that one, huh? But we did a sky breathing class there, and of all the classes I've been to, that one was the most wonderful because of the location. It's really peaceful. Again, we have those camps going on this summer, these discovery camps. Children in 5th to 8th grades can attend. They'll be over 4 weeks. We can take up to, I believe, 100 students in each session. The first week will be, that's July 7th to 14th will be Vejar. The 17th to the 21st will be at Cortez. The 24th to the 28th will be at Simons. And the 31st to August 4th will be at San Jose. And they're going to be great. It's a great collaboration with the DA, AMOCA, the club, and of course PUSD and Compassionate Pomona. So anyway, if you know children or you have children in those age groups, I saw that there was a QR code on the website. So go on, you can get information and fill out an application for them. And I think that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Perlman. Then we have Mr. Jimenez.
Well, a lot's been said about thank yous and what we've been doing during the week in terms of Dr. Nashua and Dr. Perlman. And I'm not going to say too much more because then I'll take Patty's thunder away. But I just want to say congratulations again, Superintendent Knowles. I have a plethora of concerns that I have to bring up now that I know that you're not going to run away. With that said, I want to also thank everybody for coming out today. And I know as we're getting ready for the 4th of July, I know that Dr. Nashua talked about starting the whole thing with the Big Bang. It is 4th of July weekend, almost, we're coming into it. So it's pretty exciting that it's this time. I just want to say that it's really awesome as we get ready for the 4th of July and we start thinking about all the great things that we have done together, the teachers and APT and CSEA and PACE that we're always, so, thank you for being here. It does go very much, that's very thoughtful that we're all here together in the community and everyone together to celebrate this moment of having our leader take the oath of office. I thought it was very important that we had all those representatives and they gave us the great respect for that, for this to happen. Thank you so much for that. With that said, I'm not saying much other than thank you to all our Pomona Unified School District family. I did talk about a little bit about history, apart from the beautiful words that Dr. Lisa Nashua said about the Gay Pride History Month. There's in history, we often forget about some of the heroes that happened in July the 4th and all those years of our independence here in the United States. And one person is Bernardo Galvez, Colonel Bernardo Galvez, and all the people that he represented. He was a gentleman in his 30s and very young. He was the governor of Louisiana. If he, at the time, he was called upon to pull together a spectrum of many Latin American troops. A lot of people like to say Spanish. No, they were Latin American, they were Mexican, they were Creole, they were indigenous, they were from all over. And what these people did was incredible. They took on the British. We always hear about the French and we talk about George Washington in the North and so on, but these people took on the British in the South. What they did is that they routed the British out of the Mississippi Valley, including Baton Rouge and Natchez. He besieged Mobile and seized it after a four-day battle. Later on, he attacked Pensacola Bay, and he also took Florida from the British. They never returned after that battle. He resourced the Continental Army with silver, horses, cattle, ships, guns, and ammo and men. All of this came from Latin America, not from Spain, not from the continent, but from the southern part of the United States. The horses and the cattle came from Texas. The men came from Mexico and the colonies. Remember that even the Philippines participated because they were part of New Spain back then. So America is, since the beginning, we've all been part of this great melting pot, this great, beautiful country that we call our home, America. And I hope that you all remember it correctly and go out there and teach your children these beautiful ideas that everyone matters, that everybody's voice matters, as Dr. Nashua said it so eloquently before about, what's happening with the LGBTQ community and the history thereof. So thank you so much for listening for this little part of history, and I hope you guys have a really awesome Cuarto de Julio.
Thank you, Professor. Now, Ms. Tai.
Well, like everybody else, I'll start with the audience first. So I wanted to thank Farmer Steve, but I guess he's already gone. I just can't believe what a contribution he makes to the community, and I have to go there, especially on crocheting night, because I really would like to learn. I'd also like to thank Maria Garcia and for your efforts and everything that you pour your heart into, and just the good work you did with the REACH program at Laverne just recently, and to say happy birthday to Mr. Phillips. Let's see, who should I thank first? Carrie, I'd like to thank you for sharing your husband. It's hard to, sometimes when you want him to be home and he has to, a situation has occur and he's divided in a different direction. But thank you to you and your kids for supporting him in this new adventure. And congratulations to you. I'm really excited to work alongside with you and with my colleagues. I'm just so excited for the next steps that we have.
That being said, I'll try to get through this. I'd like to take a few minutes to talk about mental health. A couple of weeks ago, I was coming home from a trip and found out a family member had taken his life a few hours earlier. I was in shock and disbelief and left with questions that will never be answered. I wrote it so I could remember it. Forever, a young family's lives have been changed. Unfortunately, socio-emotional issues are at an all-time high. On our agenda tonight, we have voted for 2 items that would increase support for the family mental health services. Patty Acevedo and her team head up a school mental health for our district with the utmost care and compassion. Daily, they deal with the most challenging and traumatic situations. The support that Patty and her team provide both to the school sites and family in crisis, I can't begin to put into words the value and their support and the services. It cannot be calculated. The school mental health team is committed to the social emotional well-being for the Pomona Unified students and their families. Raising awareness for mental health conditions is the most powerful method for counteracting the shame many people feel when struggling with these issues. So what can we do? We can talk about mental health issues openly. We can educate ourselves and others on the warning signs and symptoms of mental illness. We can practice kindness and compassion. I can't see. Assume goodwill in each other. Take and share free mental health screenings. Take and share a free mental health screening and share the information. Participate or volunteer in awareness events. If you see something, say something. Or if you're concerned about a situation or a person, see something, say something. Don't be afraid to make a referral to the school mental health services. You can find the referral on the website at the Student Family Support Services under School Mental Health and Support. All this is to say is to be alert, attentive, check in on your family and friends, and simply love one another. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Tai. And Dr. Perlman wanted to add that sky breathing is very important for our families and our students in helping with their mental health, and that is a program that we have. So we ask that you take advantage of that, whether you're struggling with something now or not, because you may need it later. Thank you. So my concluding comments, I wanted to congratulate all of our Pomona students that participated in the REACH program. It is transformative. I saw it with my very eyes. This program is like no other that exists. I know that there are other universities in our surrounding area that have something similar, but it does not compare. For those parents that have students that are going to start the 11th grade, keep this program in mind. I know that as parents, we're afraid to let our kids go because they do spend 3 weeks overnight. They're gone. And it's hard to let them go. It's hard to maybe even trust them or trust others to take care of them. But know that this program is transformative for these students. They go in like little, scared. They don't know what to expect. They're some of them, it's kind of like your first day in Head Start or kindergarten and your little one doesn't want to let you go. I mean, there were some situations like that where the student just did not want to let go of their parents. And these are 11th graders going in to be seniors. But it is now early, before they get to the summer, before this application opens up, you have an opportunity to start talking to them about this opportunity. And it doesn't mean that they have to go to college afterwards, but it just transforms just the confidence that comes out of them coming out of these short 3 weeks, the things that they learn, the interaction with college professors and college students and their peers, not just from Pomona Unified, but from other school districts that bring in a different perspective that they have never experienced or ever seen. It's magnificent. So I really, really encourage you as parents to keep this program in mind. Don't be afraid to let them go. Trust them, right? If you trust yourself, then you need to trust them because you're teaching them, right? So you would hope that what you have taught them is enough for them to make the right choices. And so let them go. Consider this program. Please come next year. And I hope that we have 200 applicants instead of us trying to find applicants for this program. That's what we face every single year. We're trying to find a student to give this piece of gold to, this diamond that we have. So give us your students and allow Laverne, University of Laverne, thank you so much. Dr. Gazawi, thank you so much. It really is phenomenal. So thank you, Pomona students, for allowing us to watch you grow. And for those parents that participated, I hope that you can come to one of our board meetings and speak and tell the other parents what you saw in your student, because nothing speaks louder than your own testament of what you saw in your student coming in and coming out of that program. Ms. Garcia, Mr. Phillips, thank you so much for your dedicated work in this program. It's going to be hard to not see you there when it's time for retirement, both of you, because wherever Maria is, her husband is. You don't see one without the other. They're a couple. They come together everywhere. So thank you both. It was phenomenal to hear Farmer Steve say that they produce 100,000 pounds of food. 100,000 pounds of food for our communities. That is phenomenal. We have something special, and I really hope that we grow it. I know, I probably can't speak for the board, but I'm pretty confident when I say that that little spot, Lopez Farms, is like a historical landmark. We're not going to let them touch it. So we hope to grow that little space into something even bigger and even more magnificent. So thank you, Farmer Steve, for sharing a wonderful presentation. I forgot last meeting to just say that on June 2nd, some of the board members and I were at the groundbreaking for our fields, for our new baseball and softball fields. Something that this construction, or I don't know if they're construction company, I don't know what you call them, but the contractors working on this feat have never done so many at a time like they're doing for us. But that came from the push of our parents. Our kids need it, they deserve it, and so we're doing it. So if you see it at the schools, a lot of movement, construction, it's happening. So we are excited to see it grow. I also wanted to say, and I'm putting myself out there like I always do. I just registered my son yesterday. I apologize. I'm one of those late people. But I wanted to thank Mr. Knowles and Gino and the IT team because it was so comforting to see the survey and the CalSpeed test that's part of the registration process to help us understand where we are in internet connectivity. Since I started in this position, I've been talking about fiber. I've been talking about the necessity of having reliable internet service to our families, not just Wi-Fi, but like reliable connection so that if something were to go down later, of course we don't want it to, but if it were, that our families have reliable connection to their homes that's not reliant on a few cell towers that maybe won't be there, or you never know what would come down the pipeline with that. So I want to thank you, Mr. Knowles, Gino, the IT team, for putting that as part of the registration process and helping us collect data to understand where our family needs are in terms of having reliable connectivity to their homes so that our kids can learn, so they can get on their Chromebooks. When everybody's gaming in my family, that's huge. I know when everybody's gaming because my Wi-Fi is super slow on my phone. So, it's important. It's important stuff. So I appreciate your support. Of course, Pride Month is coming to an end. It's not hard to see that I'm an ally. there's a lot of struggles that they face, and I am happy to see so many celebrations and so much support and many more allies coming out and being in support, not being bystanders, but actually speaking up for vulnerable individuals. And it's not just them, you know, our foster youth, our low-income kids. I mean, there's so many different groups that need our support and need us to be advocates for them. Juneteenth celebrations went on last week, and it was a beautiful thing to see. I know that I participated not locally, but in a different arena, and the education that came from understanding where Juneteenth came from, and also more information about how the liberation of our African American and just Africans in general, the liberation in Hispanic countries, 22 plus countries, was happening way before it ever happened here in the United States. And that was really, really comforting to hear. I appreciated the education and the celebration that came out of that. And last, but certainly not least, Ms. Knowles, I promise you, my name will not be coming out of your husband's mouth very often. I pledge that.
After 10.
You know, I've had a taste of that in my family, and I knew what that was like, having somebody being gone all the time because of the demands of their position. And it's rough. It's really, really rough. And so I understand where you sit. And, you know, I really hope that Mr. Knowles is committed to us for many years, not just one or two. But I also do understand that it takes a toll in a relationship. So please, whenever you need time, sir, to take time for yourself and your wife and your kids, we're here to support that too, because that's important. And I'll tell you what, he demonstrated to us that he was deserving, or to me, I'm not going to speak for anybody, he demonstrated to me that he was deserving in that position, because I was watching him like a hawk since I was here, and I knew Richard was going to retire. He was at everything. I mean, everything. And just watching him interact with our families, whether he spoke the language or not, it did not matter. The emotion was international. The feelings, the heart doesn't have a barrier, a language, and he has it. And so I'm very confident that he's going to continue to serve far further than he was in his other capacity. So now as superintendent, he knows we have a lot of asks, but I don't doubt that he's going to work hard for our children, because he's not working for us, even though technically we're his boss, right? They say that, but that's not what we're looking for. I know he's going to work hard for the children, and that's what matters, and that's what's important.
24/7.
24/7. Well, we need some work-life balance. We can't have him breaking down on us. So you need some maintenance every now and then, okay? So with that, I would like to finish with our closing remarks in memory. All of us in the Pomona Unified School District, we were deeply saddened by the death of one of our employees, Rezvan Hekmat, paraeducator at Diamond Ranch High School, has been employed with this district for 18 years. The Board of Education and staff extends its deepest sympathy to the family and adjourns the meeting in memory of Rezvan Hekmat. Our next regular board meeting is Wednesday, July 26, 2023 at 6 p.m. Our meeting is adjourned.